So I've been experimenting in Mixcraft with ways to achieve the phasing that Steve Reich has put in this piano phase piece, where one performer slightly accelerates their tempos so that they become out of phase with the other performer and end up at the start of this section one note ahead. So in Mixcraft itself, in a MIDI track, I made the notes of the pattern as semiquavers as a loop, and then I looped it up to 16 bars. And the reason I ended up choosing 16 bars instead of 1 bar or 4 bars is because when you export to audio, you get silence on the end of the clips. So the first thing is I'm setting the tempo at 110 and just simply mixing down to MP3 and saving it as 110. And then I'm changing the tempo to 120. And then I'm changing the tempo again to 130. And then I'm using the master tempo track and I'm putting a little dot in there, change the master tempo to 110, and then change this one to 120. You should be able to hear it start to speed up. It's pretty subtle. I mean, I could do a more extreme one, going from 110 to 130. You can definitely hear the speed up in that. So I changed the master project tempo back to 110, then I added in 4 or 5 audio tracks, and then I imported the recorded files that I had previously made. If I select the sound and press Ctrl-I, it will automatically get rid of the silence. It's better than nothing, but it's not perfect. So what you'll end up having to do is copy this one and paste it in, and then zoom in and join them together manually until there's no gap between the end of one and the beginning of the other. So I'm just going to solo that and listen. Good, whereas if I actually put them where they look like they end, it would sound weird. It's like a little hiccup. The only other problem is we're getting a crossfade, as I'm hoping you can see there. So it might be better to actually do it on a different track. I'm not entirely certain that that's perfect, so I might just want to... So now I'm going to turn this one back on and let you listen to the sensation of this one coming in, and it'll be out of phase. Heavens to Murgatroyd, it took me ages at maximum zoom in to just nudge this back and forth until they sounded like they were perfectly in time. I wonder whether many students would have the patience to do that. But anyway, let's have a listen. And then supposedly in the music, immediately after the accelerando, the second player holds tempo 1, which was the 110 tempo. I found it impossible to trim the loop so that it started precisely on the F sharp, so I think I'd have to make another set of loops that started on F sharp. I'm not actually trying to entirely replicate this piece. I'm just playing around with the idea of phasing. From my perspective, I think what I might do is add in the sound file just simply faster. It starts off at 110. Then it's got this accelerando part, and then at this point here, this one's playing at 110 and this one's playing at 120. Might be quite an interesting effect. So there's a whole pile of artistic decisions that I didn't make because I was just playing around with tempo.